All right, welcome in. This is going to be the loser brackets final of the Discovery Cup number 3. And this is going to be Doudouuu in the blue Infernal. And just scanning him there, we saw in the red playing the Celestials. This is going to be Virion. Stop flying your building away when I'm trying to zoom in on it. Very bad mannered. There we go. We will see if Virion will continue this bad-mannered play and fly his Archship across the map and use laser beams on his opponent. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. We will see. There is a Hexen out already. And today on this match, she's not going to be harassing. She just peeks in, sees the collection array, and that was all the information she needed. And then she just does her little hokey pokey. And he turns herself around. And that's what it's all about, my friends. That is what it's all about. Brute out, but the Conclave isn't finished yet. So this is different. Norbash Bash was using a different build than this. So Doudouuu has a different plan for the Celestial faction. It looks like that was a very early Shrine. Although probably Vault into Shrine, given that we already have 2 Brutes out. I actually like this style too. So we were seeing out of Norbash Bash a Brute and Gaunt creeping style, which is also very effective. But 2 Brutes, that's enough tanking power that you're not going to have to worry about these very much. You might want to micro that Brute, or you split it too to get that extra DPS. In this case, is it going to survive? Yeah, it just barely survives. At like 4 hit points or something like that. We already got imps coming out of the second shrine, so that economy is going to start ramping up right away. And back here for Virion, we're on the second base. We're not saturated yet. We have prisms mining Therium, and that's double purifier. And maybe this, you know, I'm not a Celestial player myself, but we've been seeing these Seraphim and Vector plays, and I imagine those are somewhat Therium heavy builds or compositions. So maybe that's why we're seeing a lot of early purifiers as part of the Celestial sort of build. Here we go. It's not even Vectors. It's straight into Legion Halls. Triple Legion Hall off 2 base. And again, I've been seeing this a number of times in this tournament, but as well as other games recently, that this must be the meta. This must be how folks want to open. Now, one thing we're seeing here is that in this case, Virion's going straight to the Seraphim, where in other cases we've seen Virion and other Celestial players go Vectors first. So there must be some sort of variations on this build. Do you go for the Seraphim first, or do you go for the Vectors first? In the end, they kind of look like the same composition, though. A little bit of both, plus some Archangels. But interesting that we haven't been seeing a lot of Creation Chamber tech, which, you know, Argent All Ends used to dominate. Okay, so Doudouuu starting to get a little aggressive, moving his units over. Now the Seraphim want to get in here, maybe snipe the Shadow Demons, maybe get some units. But there are 5 Gaunts here, plus the Hexen. I don't know who wins that battle, but I don't think it's the Seraphim. The thing is, the Seraphim can kind of snipe Gaunts, and if the Gaunt number starts getting small, then the Seraphim start winning that battle. Especially if you have enough to, say, one-shot a Gaunt, then those Gaunt numbers are going to start going down pretty quick. Didn't recapture this, which is meaning that, excuse me, Doudouuu is going to have, there we go, 1 Seraphim stops. You don't want to have your opponent having that much vision of your base. In fact, it literally gives you vision of your base. So reclaiming that's important for Virion to keep having that map control, and now using the Seraphim to get the map control and take these valuable towers. We see 4 more going, and they're heading straight to the Virion, so they're not going to the Luminite first. I kind of thought that's where they were going, but this makes sense. Remember that the Therium income is probably important for this build because of all the high-tech units. Not a lot of no Argents. We haven't seen any Argents yet, and that's a good Luminite dump. So this is some really good creeping out with these Seraphim. I love how Virion's decided to split his Seraphim into 2 different groups. And look, takes out the Skull Squisher with just 5. Wow. And we're going to go double Skull Squisher here. And immediately into Harass, killing some imps. And we're got the Static D is going to be taken out here by our Pencil Crayon Shooter. We got another one on the way. Well, let's keep our eye on this one. We do have Doudouu's forces showing up. And look at this. There's a lot of Gaunts. There are some Hellborn. That means that the Pencil Crayon Shooter is going to go down. The Shroud Stones here were taken out as well, and the Seraphim are forced to retreat. We actually have a base going down over here. And where's that other Pencil Crayon Shooter? Let's keep our eye on that. Now, interestingly, it's going to go for this base, whereas these units have been pulled out here to defend the 3rd. That's one reason why this 3rd is considered, you know, a little bit more dangerous. It's out of the way. Some folks will take this 3rd, which is more forward and closer to your opponent's base, but sometimes can be a little easier to defend. Why is this pencil? Oh, it had to go up the ramp so that it could see the buildings, and now that means Fellhog's right on top. Oh, you hate to see this. Fellhog's taken out a Pencil Crayon Shooter. So that was just good SimCity there from Doudouuu, and that Pencil Crayon Shooter was not babysat. You sometimes need to babysit them to make sure they don't do silly things like that. And these units move back, take over the health camp again. But look at how many camps on this mini-map are in control of Virion. This is good news thus far for Virion. Also has taken that forward base, put a Guardian Nexus up front. Now, that might be for upgrades, but we don't see a lot of units here that need upgrades from the Guardian Nexus. It's in fact more likely that this is a defensive structure. When you surge it, it gives more armor to your nearby buildings. So if this expansion gets under attack, the Guardian Nexus can be surged for extra defense. And I really love that that is something that's being added into the builds for Celestials. This is a feature that's been on these buildings for the entire time, but has started being seeped into the meta. I think the Ascension Matrix also gives a bonus to damage. Okay, this is a serious battle. Yeah, the Gaunts decide maybe I should pull back. I don't really want to engage into all those blast nodes and strike nodes. Here comes some huge meteor strikes. Wow, wiping out a large number of Gaunts. Then Avatar form and using their line attacks to take out even more. However, we do see that Doudouuu kind of has pulled back and tried to get a nice concave with the Gaunts. The Hellborn there are still raining down fire. Some of them are actually tanking, and remember that Hellborn are kind of tanky. That Archangel is so low, is it going to go down? No, all these units pull back. They accidentally attack the trees. But, you know, get out of my way, trees. I so agree with that sentiment. And they're just right back up the ramp. I like this, you know, regroup and right back up the ramp. Lots of units here, though, for Virion. The Archangel has one more meteor strike. Boom! That's good. There is no Scorched Earth on them yet. We are getting a Purify here to cleanse some of the Infest. Delta jump forward, but there were not a lot of units there. This is sort of an aggressive kind of play, and we see the Vectors get taken out. Unfortunately, 2 Animancers here. They're so slow. Poor ladies. Oh, one gets taken out. Is there going to be anything from... So, Animancers have a few skills. They can heal and drain energy. They can use their Unseen Veil. Makes everything invisible and speeds it up. And of course, their very deadly Dark Prophecy, but I do not see that yet. It's not clear if we have Master Training yet. What is coming up here? Scorched Earth on the way, followed by Animancer Master Training. So that does mean Unseen Veil is available. And holy moly, we got 6 Archangels here, plus 3 Sabers. That is looking pretty good. We have a transfer to this Virion, but I like to put another shrine there. Look at all this, these defensive buildings going down here. This Virion is just so far away that I really feel that having an extra shrine here is valuable. We saw a Hellspawn Resurgence going down on the shrine to pump out more imps. Okay, only 5 up here. That may be where the transfer came from. But we had 12 over here. So lots on Therium. So Doudouuu is definitely committed to making sure that they have enough Therium to supply these expensive units. It looks like Hellborn is the unit of choice, with Shadow Flyers added to help deal with Seraphim and or Archangels, in this case Archangels. Here we have an Unseen Veil army just scooting right out. But there are Shadow Flyers here, and Shadow Flyers see the unseen. See the unseen. Scorched Earth just finished, so we have some really nice meteor strikes going down here, and a lot of units that are being taken out. This army is pushing forward, and it's now Doudouuu decide, I'm going to turn and fight. I'm going to make my Gaunts come and try and get some of that DPS, but the Archangels on the front line here are just doing too much damage. What a terrible place to have your effigy there, where it flowed downhill but not uphill. We get a Manifest Shroud Stone that's going to spread the shroud out, but I don't know if there's enough here for Doudouuu to hold on. This is looking like... Oh no, so many Archangels. Look at these lines of attack. Smash, smash, smash. Take this giant mace in the face. I heard you like maces. How about a mace in your face? A huge meteor strike in Scorched Earth, and that's going to be GG from Doudouuu in game number 1. Alright, we're back at it. This is going to be game number 2 in this match, and once again, this is going to be Doudouuu in the Blue Infernal. As Snap says in the chat, representing the Frog and Snail Eaters from France. So good luck to you, Doudouuu. And here we are in the Red Celestial. This is going to be Virion. Representing Poland, I think I heard him say. Or at least in Poland. So we've got an EU battle going on. Hexen shows up. She sees a collection array, marches up the ramp, bravely, brazenly almost, and just teleports home. The Hexen of Doudouuu is not nasty like the Hexen of Norbashbash, who would come in and try and snipe your prism. She just goes home, wants to relax, put her feet up a little bit, babysit this shrine, and we got our first brood out. And remember, we saw 2 brood creeping is the style that we saw from Doudouuu last time, and maybe we'll see that again. And hopefully Doudouuu will make this a match and maybe pull out a win in this one. Now remember, I mentioned it was Virion who eliminated Doudouuu into the loser's bracket originally. So Doudouuu is looking for revenge for that loss. Double Purifier again from Virion. And remember, they come with those free prisms, which is what makes them really worthwhile. Saves you the production time on those prisms. And I imagine that our collection array here has been on constant prism production since the beginning. And remember, in the last patch, the prisms did get a nerf to their build time. They build a little bit slower, if I remember correctly. And also remember, prisms are really cool in that they, you know, they gather differently than the workers from the Infernal and the Vanguard factions. So that's why I think balancing them is taking a little bit more time, because they just work differently. Okay, we did miss the health camp getting taken out there by Doudouuu, but moving on to the vision camp. And do we have any units out yet? Nothing yet out from Virion. Look at this. There we go. Here come the Legion Halls. It's going to be a Seraphim day. Or maybe we'll be going right into the Archangel. We saw a lot of Archangels last game. I liked it too. Energy camp. So a nice creeping pattern from Doudouuu to get that extra income. And in this case, a little bit of boost for their Hexen. Seraphim out. Going for the vision. Yes, and I do like this play from Doudouuu to be aggressive. And look, those fiends are trying to... Oh, but they do not snag it because the Seraphim does have really good DPS versus creeps. Nice little dodge and sort of peek and yoink. Right, that one I think might have went to Doudouuu. It's not clear. It would be really cool if there was some indicator that told us. I'm sure that's another thing that will be coming in. I think the easiest way to do it is to take the income indicator that you would normally get. If you were playing, you would get a little 25 or something that pops up. It tells you how much income you get. Just color code that for us in the Observer UI so that it's red or blue, for instance. And then we'd be able to see, oh, look, that one was taken, you know, by Team Red and so on. Seems simple. I'm a software dev. I'm like, I kind of just want to volunteer my Sunday afternoons. Oh wait, not Sunday afternoons. I like the cats, but you know, volunteer some time, go to Frost Giant and just, I'll build this one feature for you. You don't gotta pay me. I just want it because I need it for casting, or I need it for whatever. I want to fix a few bugs. There's one bug that does this scrolling bug, that one. Why did I do it? I triggered it just to show it off, but there's this one scrolly bug that I'd love to see fixed as well. Okay. Doudouu's now breaking down this secluded grove. That's where this map gets its name. I don't know if any of you guys had thought of that before, but this here is the secluded grove. Okay, I'm being silly. Of course, everyone probably knew that was the secluded grove. And that was a... I remember first encountering this map in Frigate, and the Celestials loved that secluded grove. They would just fly their Archship there right at the beginning and build a bunch of bases. And that's because us poor noobs back then didn't know you could just break down the trees and kill them. It looks like Doudouu's starting to be a little bit more aggressive now, at least in terms of the creep caps. Moving over to Virion's side of the map, but hasn't used that as like sort of to be aggressive yet. We've got our Seraphim here. Are they going to try and poke in here? Yeah, they're going to try and snipe the Hexen. Hard to kind of click there. One Seraphim goes down. There are two Hellborn there, and actually a third one arriving. And ooh, and some Shadow Flyers too. So there's a lot of Seraphim, but this is an army designed to kill Seraphim if I've seen one. So Doudouuu might be having an opportunity here. There is a Morph Core in the middle. Yeah, Doudouuu might have an opportunity to take this game if he can get a good engage against these Seraphim. Now, here are some... Okay, now we've got some Star Forges. Now we've got some Vectors out. And the Vectors can help because by being on the ground, they're not only going to tank, but they're... Remember, they're really good at kiting. This is what I was talking about. Doudouuu has an opportunity and finally decides, okay, I'm going to push in this base full on down. And this could be turning into a base race as we see the Seraphim of Virion flying over here to the third base. Shadow Flyers, unfortunately, if they stay back, that could be really good. But it's Doudouuu just pushing right in, saying, I'm going to come and wreck your base then. If you're not going to come back and defend, I'm going to wreck you. And it looks like that Virion has made the choice. I do have to defend this. And we see the Seraphim on the minimap coming back as Doudouuu just keeps pushing in here. Now, I like his positioning, not letting those Gaunts be baited in by the Vectors too much. And actually, we see Doudouuu retreating here as the Seraphim return. I'm not super sure what that is. It seems a little timid to me, as he's got this force that can certainly take this all out. I mean, I have no idea if this can take this all out. I'm using my Bronze League skills, but it looks like this is a good army to fight the army that Virion has on the field. Looking at their supply, they are very close, so that could be one thing that maybe makes a difference. When your supplies are close, it starts to come down to control. It starts to come down to things like, are you attacking into blast nodes like we saw there? And that means, you know, a few Gaunts go down. And this is definitely where Doudouuu would prefer to take that battle, out in the middle of the field, where you can drop an effigy and have advantage instead of having a disadvantage. I like this attack angle a little better. There are these strike nodes. If these, that one is almost a blast node. Yeah, it's going to be really good. But there is vision here. Yikes! Get that blast node. Boom, they snipe it. Hellborn get it in one volley. And yeah, this is a better attack angle. The SimCity tends to kind of work against Virion here. These Star Forges, for instance, might get taken out as they battle here. And there's this Purifier on the high ground is also kind of tanking Hellborn shots. We did see a number of Shadow Flyers get in there. I don't think they had a very efficient impact on the Seraphim. And now the Seraphim are moving in and trying to snipe Hellborn. I think you gotta just sit here and fight. Let the Hellborn get those splash damage on the Seraphim. A lot of Seraphim look like they've already gone down. Yeah, just fight here on your Shroud. Doudouuu not wanting to throw, I think, and just saying, I want to make sure I stay. We can see already what's happened with the supply. That Virion, in that engage, Virion lost a lot, but Doudouuu was able to keep his army together as well as reinforce. So we now have almost 100 supply lead for Doudouuu, and Doudouuu is definitely in a position to make a comeback here in game number 2 and really turn this into a series. Now, where are you headed, Doudouuu? I think his idea here is, I've got Virion contained kind of on 2 bases, but I want to make sure there's not a secret 3rd or 4th. Didn't take out this Purifier though. Taking out the woods. And okay, now has found the Purifier. This is going to be an easy one to take out. There's a Purifier up here, but there's no collection array. Okay, Seraphim engaging into something that I feel like the Gaunts just want to mow through this. And for some reason, Virion took that battle probably when they shouldn't, and ouch. Only one Seraphim managing to stay alive. And again, Hellborn try and take down trees. You gotta hit the front trees. Hit the front trees, the splash damage will take out the back trees. And bye-bye to another Purifier. So like I said, Virion is contained on these 2 bases. And Doudouu's just trying to go around and making sure there are no secret bases. If that's the case, then on his 4 bases, we'll quite easily be able to out-macro and eventually just A-move. We're at 250 supply versus 107. I think we're already at the A-move point, but look, there's blast node, blast node, blast node. You know, it's not fun to attack into a bunch of blast nodes, so... Holy moly, how many Hellborn do we have here? Yeah, that doesn't look good, but you either just attack it. Okay, so here we go. Some micro pulling back the gaunts so the Hellborn can basically just one-shot almost these nodes. Wow, out down goes the power bank. So right now it's just under siege. Well, this army of Virion is trying to come back. And now we see Argents being added. I wonder if that's a desperate move to just spend some of that. That's going to be GG from Virion in game number 2. Alright, here we are in game number 3. Once again, these are going to be our competitors in the Blue Inferno. This is Doudouuu. His opponent, rocking the red, playing the Celestial faction. We have Virion. And we're on Ruination. The map that's hard to find in the map pool, apparently. And we've got a pretty standard collection array going out early. It was Vault into Shrine over here for Doudouuu. And that's also fairly standard opening for the Infernal these days. And what's that? Oh, that's a farm. Thought it might be a Conclave. In here we might be getting a Conclave from this imp. This is curious positioning of the Vault because it kind of blocks the walk towards the Therium, which is going to slow down Therium a little bit. Maybe wanted a square or two forward. And like I was starting to say, this is fairly standard to get your Vault out before your Shrine in a lot of the matchups, just because it affords you a lot of things. If you have your Vault done, you can upgrade to tier 2. If you have your Vault done, you can throw down a upgrade building, your Hellforge. And also if you have your Vault done, if you're like me and Doudouuu and you prefer to creep with, 2 brutes, then that early Vault allows you to get that second brute out quicker, and you can be off to your creeping. So I think that's why early Vault is still very popular for Infernal players. Whereas our Celestial players, there's a Creation Chamber, they tend to be like, let's just go eco, eco, eco. So what we've seen here is this build order is mostly like, we saw the Collection Array go down first, then we saw 2 Purifiers, and then we have a Creation Chamber. And that's just going to be very slow into unit production. And based on the builds we've been seeing out of these players so far, and these players I mean Virion, I highly expect there will be nothing coming out of that Creation Chamber. We're going to go straight into Starforge or into Legion Hall. And we do have tier 2 halfway done. And over here, still on just the Shrine, but tier 2 just started. And nothing else fancy to note here. Oh, I guess a 3rd base. So Doudouuu is being a little more aggressive economically. And has, did well with it last game. Definitely used that contain to get ahead economically, and finally just had a real big army. Two prisms over there on the Therium. So lots of Therium income needed for these Seraphims. And we do have a strike node up here as well. Is there one on the lower ground? No. And okay, I haven't been paying attention. Doudouu's out here creeping the map. Taking the vision camps. And we do, oh, it's straight into Twilight Spire here. So it's up to tier 3. We're going to get our Plague Axes probably going right away here. Keep an eye on that. Looks like we're also getting ready to creep this. This looks like not enough to me, to my Infernal eyeballs. Because the Bruiser here punches hard. I don't know how many hits it takes to kill a Fiend. Maybe only one these days, because Fiends, look how little hit points they have. 50 total. Pretty low. For instance, for comparison, our Seraphim here are at 180 hit points. They're not exactly tanks. They do very well against creeps, of course. Okay, so it looks like Doudouuu decided, like I did, that maybe that's not the camp that I want to take. And he is staying on Gaunts. He hasn't added any extra brutes. Seraphim are scooting around the outside. But they find a Shroud Stone. And how do two Seraphim do against a Shroud Stone? Yeah, it doesn't look like they want to fight a Shroud Stone. Instead, they're on the Imps. They get one Imp, but they're taking Shroud Stone shots. Oh no, one's going to go down. The other one does get away. So yeah, one Seraphim lost there. Maybe due to lag. Because Virion is dealing with some internet issues. But I said, let's just try and finish it off. Why not? This is largely for fun. No one's winning much here except, you know, breaking rights and being named as the Discovery Cup #3 winner. So why not just play it out and see what happens? It can be hard to win with high ping, but every once in a while you can get lucky, get a good engage. And we do have a large force of Seraphim here. And as far as Doudouu's army is concerned, I mean, these units are fairly good against Seraphim, but the Gaunts are super squishy. I feel like it was Hellborn that were really helping in game #2. And there we go, Hellborn starting to appear. Okay, so I'm just looking at the base. We don't yet see anything for Spriggan Tech, Shadowclef, for instance. But so far, Doudouuu has mostly been making Shadow Flyers out of the Twilight Spire, and it might be staying to that. Here comes a possible engage. A lot of grouped up Seraphim. They're going to fly away, but they do get an impact from some Shadow Flyers. Oh, yikes. A lot of Seraphim taking out by Shadow Flyers there. Hellborn getting some really good shots on too. And yeah, Virion doing pretty well still with a bit of a lead, but taking some really big hits there. And a lot of those Seraphim are low, meaning if these Gaunts can get underneath them, or a Hellborn can get a nice shot off on them, this could be really bad. We're seeing some of the units get caught on these buildings, which is good for Virion. If the DPS is getting drained, there are also some vectors up on the high ground here trying to engage. But there's just a lot of Gaunts here that are providing this front wall. We see vectors jumping on top of the Hellborn, a couple going down, but Hellborn tend to be very tanky, and there's a lot of Fiends here. They're on top of the Shroud, and that just means the Plague Axe has won the day. That's GG from Virion.